Whatever you remember at the time of passing.
Yes.
That it was.
Correct. So Krishna is describing yam yam mapi smaran bhava tyajate ante kalevaram. Whatever you remember at the time of death, you will attain that state without fail. Okay. Yes.
I was thinking of I I was thinking of doing something like that, and this is what we are talking about, right? So,
Bhagavad Gita is talking about it right now.
no, she passed something to you. That's why maybe.
No. You see the verse.
No,
So-
no. The verse is like, but you sent him on some chair, and maybe you spoke to him about what we spoke, and that's why this topic has come. This is following.
This is we are discussing previous class, whatever we discussed as a recap. So Bhagavad Gita. So yeah, the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita is body and soul. It starts off like that. And then Krishna describes one by one what is the goal of our life, right? So we've already discussed 6 chapters earlier. So first 6 chapters. First chapter is, I'm going to again give a short recap for him. So first 6 chapters basically talk about setting up the scene. First chapters, how Arjuna is on the battlefield. He's asking Krishna, Hare Krishna, to take the chariot in the middle of the 2 armies. Then he gets bewildered seeing his relatives on the other side.
Yes.
And then, he ultimately surrenders to Krishna. He gives 5 reasons for not fighting. And then he surrenders to Krishna. Last is that I'm confused. I don't know what to do. So Krishna, who was as a friend, now assumes the role of a teacher and starts instructing Arjuna. And the very first thing he instructs Arjuna is that we are not this body, we are the soul. That's the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita. And then he's saying that you're lamenting for something which is anyways going to die. If you don't kill, then anyways, they're bound to die, right? You kill or someone else kill, right? So what you're lamenting for is very temporary. And somebody who's an Aryan means somebody who knows the value of life, somebody who knows that he's not this body but the soul, he doesn't lament for such things like that. And then he goes on to explain, there are several things. He actually answers all the 5 doubts Arjuna have in the second chapter itself. And then from the third chapter onwards, he starts elaborating. So second chapter is almost like a summary of Bhagavad Gita. And then third chapter onwards, he starts elaborating on each and every one of those points, starting with Karma Yoga in third chapter, then knowledge in the fourth chapter, jnana. Then again, more detail of Karma Yoga in fifth chapter. Then sixth chapter, he talks about Dhyana Yoga, right? How yogis meditate, etc. And then in the end of sixth chapter, he declares that how the topmost yogi is one who actually is a devotee of the Lord, who always thinks of Krishna, and surrender, offers obeisances to him, worships him like that.
I been through few verses before.
Great.
The thing is, this verse itself, like,
Huh.
I was thinking of doing something, and you are saying those things. So I'm like, I don't want to.
It's not me, it's Paramatma in the heart. And it's the, so it's, so whatever situation we come across, the situation we are put into is actually our destiny. You are destined to hear something like this. Huh?
Because I want to do it.
No, so it might help you to get out of it.
Because I know, like, the state you are in at the time of that is what follows. I know
Yes.
already that.
Yes.
And
That is something we discussed in the previous class. We're just taking a recap.
okay.
Right? This is one of the verses we discussed last time. Right? So, 7th chapter onwards, he starts talking about devotional service. Right? Because that's the cream. 7 to 12, these are the middle sections, middle chapters, which talk about devotional service. So, 7th chapter, he starts with describing who he is, what are his opulences, talks about his Maya, how it's very, very difficult to overcome. Then who surrenders to him, who doesn't surrender to him, what are the other people in between. These are all discussions in subject matter of 7th chapter. Now, in the 8th chapter, so in the 7th chapter, then what is the destination of people who surrender to Krishna? What is the destination of people who don't surrender to Krishna? So there we had this verse which talk about, Krishna is talking about how when someone remembers him at the time of death, attains him. What about others? So whatever they remember at the time of death, they attain that state. Like that. So, and now we are discussing the 8th chapter. right? Where Arjuna is asking, what is Brahman? What is, the material nature? What is Adi Deva, Adi Bhuta, right? These are some 6 different words Krishna describes in the 7th chapter, and Arjuna is asking those questions. So Krishna is answering them one by one. And in the first 4 verses, he answered already that what is Brahman? Brahman is the self. What is Adhyatma? Adhyatma is our very nature to love and serve God, like that. Then what is Adi Bhuta? Adi Bhuta is material nature, and how the material nature is working under the supremacy of Krishna, like that. What is Adi Deva? Adi Deva is all the demigods, right, who are controlling different aspects of the creation, right? And what else is there? Adi Deva, Adi Bhuta, Adi Yagna. Adi Yagna is a lord of sacrifice, who is Krishna himself as Paramatma, like that. So that's what the discussion of the previous class was, and now we're starting with 8.8, right? So Krishna in the previous verse 8.7. Oh, thank you. Hare Krishna. Oh, I have to start this actually. Just turn this on.
FM mode.
Hare Krishna. So, in the previous verse, Krishna is describing that, okay, now because at the time of death, you remember and you attain that state, therefore, O Arjuna, while you are fighting, remember me. Tasmat sarveshu kalashu mam anusmarna yudhyacha. Right, 8.7. Right? Therefore, at all times, tasmat sarveshu kalashu mam anusmarna yudhyacha. Remember me and fight. Right? Now, someone may question how to remember Krishna and fight. Right? Like we have a question, how to remember Krishna and work. मैं या तो भगवान को याद करूं या तो काम करूं. मैं दोनों कैसे करूं? So, a very simple thing. First is, at least in the beginning, we can at least start the work with the consciousness that, oh, this is for Krishna. And try to do this for Krishna, right? So at least your baseline intent of doing that work is for the pleasure of Krishna. Right? And of course, while fighting, it's not that Arjuna is smiling and throwing arrows. He has to be angry, right, to fight. So he's angry. He's using his anger in service of Krishna, like that. So that's how at least we can begin. And as one gets more and more practiced, right, even while working, he can still remember the Lord. There is one, I was hearing one class, and there was this saint who says the words, which means that, Krishna, I cannot even do work right now. So he's a tailor, right? And he's trying to put the thread in the needle. So he's saying, I cannot put the thread in the needle also, because as soon as I do anything, I'm constantly remembering you. And your remembrance brings tears in my eyes. So my eyes are flooded with tears. I cannot see, where to put the thread in the needle, like that. So not able to do his work. That's a very high stage, of course, not for us right now. But yeah. Okay, so let's do today's verse, 8.8. How to remember Krishna? Krishna is describing this. Abhyasa yoga yuktena Chetasana nigamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Pārtha Chintayan.
I want to stay away from digital right now.
Oh, I said, okay, no problem.
I have to completely on laptop and
Okay.
stay away. From
Sure. No problem. ठीक है.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Appreciate
So you want to read the translation
Yes.
loudly?
From where?
8.8.
He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. He, O Pārtha, is sure to reach me.
Yes. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Comes also meditated on Krishna 24/7. Right? But as an enemy. So here, he who meditates on me favorably as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me undeviated from the path. Oh, Partha is sure to reach me. So Krishna is giving the formula how to reach him. What is the formula? Huh? Meditate on him.
While we your job.
कब करना है meditate?
Every time.
काम करते समय बाकी टाइम नहीं.
Giving me undivided attention.
Yes,
Constantly.
constantly. So very nice point you raised. Undivided attention. Attention is actually such a powerful thing, right? Where attention goes, energy flows, right? So even to actually all of us, if you go to see, we're all attention seekers, right? We want attention of our loved ones, or even office mein, ghar pe, we want attention, right? Where is this coming from? Krishna, yes, he is the biggest attention seeker. So whatever quality we have actually exists in Krishna, but it exists in the absolute form. Absolute form मतलब यहाँ पे it may be a bad thing that I'm only seeking attention, whereas in Krishna's case it's not bad, right? Just as his I'll tell you, just as his anger and his mercy are equal. That's called absolute. On an absolute platform, the anger and mercy both are equal. Even when he's angry on the asuras and he kills them, they are sent to Vaikuntha. They are liberated, right? वो mercy देते हैं liberation मिलता है, गुस्सा होते तो भी liberation मिलता है. So his anger and his mercy are on an absolute plane, but our anger is not. Our anger will destroy the other person, not liberate him, right? So it's not on the absolute platform. So like that, his attention seeking is also on the absolute platforms for the benefit of others, right? When if someone stares at you, Rosie, थोड़े time बाद Rosie will start feeling uncomfortable. If everyone starts looking at him, तो Rosie देखेंगे कुछ गलत है क्या यहाँ पे? He'll comb his hair a little bit, he'll like, right? So if everyone's staring, right, you might think either something is wrong, or either they are trying to tease me, or either they are trying to do something or the other, right? You might take it negatively. But Krishna enjoys when you stare at him, right? You can actually stand in front of him and drool constantly, right? And he appreciates that. That's almost like a service to him, like that. So why? Because it helps us remember Krishna, even when at times when we are not seeing him, just because we've invested that time and energy and given him his our undivided attention, right? So then he actually captures our mind and consciousness. So then we can easily remember him during the day, like that. That's why we are also chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Why? Because when we're constantly chanting his name, we are trying to remember. So Shravan, Kirtan, right? These are the initial processes of bhakti. The first two limbs of bhakti is Shravana and Kirtan. Shravan means hearing, Kirtan means glorifying. When somebody does Shravan and Kirtan nicely, what is the result? Hare Krishna. What is the result?
Some form of change in himself.
What change?
He starts remembering God. We are basically at the very beginning stage, we don't do it even.
So there are 9 processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam. Archanam is worship. Vandanam is offering obeisances. Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Serving as a servant, a friend, and completely surrender. So these are 9 processes of devotional service, right? So Shravanam and Kirtanam are the beginning 2. If you do Shravan and Kirtan nicely, the natural result is Smaranam, right? Remembrance, like you said. So if you hear, that's why hearing is very, very important. So the wives of the Brahmanas, right, in Vrindavan. So once Krishna and Balram, they were out in the forest, and all the boys were very, very hungry. So Krishna sent one of his two of his friends to go and ask food from some brahmanas who were performing yajna in one place. So they went and asked. So the brahmana said, "Hey, go away. We are busy doing our yajna. Don't disturb us." Then they came back to Krishna, and Krishna said, "Okay, now go and ask the wives of those brahmanas. Right? They are my pure devotees. They will definitely give something." So then they went to the wives of these brahmanas, and immediately they were so excited. They were like, "Oh, Krishna Balaram has come." They picked up all the food, that was for the yajna, without considering, their husbands. They just came running with the boys to where Krishna Balaram were. Right? So they had actually not seen Krishna at all in their life. Till that point, they had not seen Krishna. They had simply heard about Krishna. And just by hearing, they were so, their hearts were completely transformed. They were, almost attained pure devotional service. So just by hearing, even Rukmini Devi, just by hearing qualities of Krishna, she fell in love with Krishna. Like she won't marry anyone except for Krishna. Like that. So hearing is very, very powerful. Prahlad Maharaj also heard in the womb of his mother Kayadu, right, while he was there in the womb. Narad Muni spoke Bhagavatam. So he heard in the womb. She slept, but the child was awake. He was hearing like that. So he who meditates on me as Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged. ऐसा आधे घंटे के लिए एक घंटे के लिए constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, oh Partha is sure to reach me. So if you have to reach Krishna, you have to come to a platform or a stage where we are constantly remembering Krishna. Now this may be sounding extremely difficult, but it's possible, right? So it requires practice, and that's what the Lord is saying here, abhyasa, right? Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Right? One has to practice. Yes, you want to say something? Oh. So in the purport here, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning one important point. The mind is fickle, and therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force to think of Krishna. One example often is given is that of a caterpillar that thinks of becoming a butterfly, and so it is transformed into a butterfly in the same life. In the previous verses, the discussion was whatever you remember at the time of death, you become that in the next life. यहाँ पर हमको एक live example है, right? In the same life, right? The caterpillar is always meditating of having wings and flying, right? So over a period of time, with some hardship, it then turns into a butterfly like that. So Prabhupada is comparing that and giving the example that how the mind needs to be engaged, right? Idle mind, devil's workshop, right? Khali man, shaitan ka ghar. So mind needs constant engagement, right? Either it can be engaged positively or negatively. So if there is no positive engagement, by default, mind will focus on the negative, right? And all sorts of nonsense manifest. So if you positively engage your mind, then you're sorted. Okay, 8.9, very, very important verse, very nice verse. Tavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anoraniyam Samam Anusmaredya Sarvasya Dhatam Chintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasaha Parastad. Someone would like to read the translation? Yeah.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows fully him, as he who is the oldest of the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond what material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He's luminous like the sun, and he's transcendental beyond this material nature. I would also like to add something if I'm not.
Yes, yes.
So, this thought of, passing away from, I just was talking to, I called her up 2 days back and I told her that, I've been deeply thinking about life and death.
Hmm.
And actually, astrologically also, it's such that I don't know if you believe in astrology or not. But, the phase this full moon was very, very powerful and it brought a lot of emotions to the surface,
Mm.
which was very difficult emotions. So many people I have experienced, as I talk to a lot of people, have been experiencing these kind of emotions. So it is not a very rare occurrence to feel that way, and you're not alone. That is what I want to say.
Okay.
So, in fact, I was speaking with her. I told you, right? I was thinking about life and death and what is the meaning of all this. And I told her all these things. This 2 days back, and I was watching some movie and which showed of a person dying, and suddenly I was looking up health insurance policies and things.
Okay.
I'm learning this from
Okay.
things. That's the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
That fears. And everyone thinks of such a thing, and it's not nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be embarrassed of or feel bad. I mean that's what I wanted to say.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
So for always understanding only we are gathering,
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
it will be very easy for us to understand.
exactly.
so
Life is a journey, not the destination. How you live is important.
True.
I mean, astrology definitely is a science, right? Very few know how to, do it well, right? There are good scientists, there are great scientists, and there are pseudo scientists. So yeah, it's a science, and it's very, very difficult or inaccessible sort of a science. Sure. So yeah, I mean, these thoughts are not very unnatural. There are people who kind of hide this same feeling, under the rug, and not wanting to discuss it, not wanting to confront it, right?
It's
Uh,
very brave to talk
Yeah,
about
of course, absolutely. It's very brave, and it is something necessary. So I'll tell you one short. I have given this example earlier. So a very funny example by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. So once in a village, there was a circus, right? 25 paisa circus, right? So the ticket price was 25 paisa. Now the whole village lined up. 25 paisa circus. The whole village lined up. And they were all very excited. Something wonderful we'll see. Because अच्छे से publicity किया था must have done. So the only catch was that at a time only one person is allowed inside. तो बहुत लंबा लाइन लगा हुआ था और एक एक को अंदर ले रहे थे and after some time you would come out, right? So the first person went in and there was a ring master. वो शेर को कंट्रोल करते ना with a hunter, and there were these big bodybuilders who would gymnasts who would jump, right? So they were standing. So this guy is really excited. अरे वाह अभी कुछ करेंगे. ठीक है पकड़ो इसको. They caught him, they backed him left, right and center, right? पूरा black and blue कर दिया उसको. And then they left him. 25 पैसे सर्कस देखना जाओ. So now this person is so embarrassed. What happened to me right now? He's so embarrassed, so ashamed. When he comes out from the other side, everyone's like, kaisa tha, circus kaisa tha? Oh, very nice. Once in a lifetime experience. Once in a lifetime. It was amazing. He's embarrassed. He cannot say the real thing, right? So he's saying this. So second person is super excited. Arey, wow. He goes through the same stuff. He comes, oh, bahut achha, once in a lifetime. So like that, in the material world, we are experiencing the beatings of Maya left, right, and center, right? We are all in the same boat. Nobody admits. Right? Brave are the people who admit. Nobody admits like that. So yeah, it's very brave of you, right? And to actually find a solution. Actually, human form of life is meant to ask the question, why am I suffering? Right? If you throw a stone at the dog, will the dog turn to you, sir, क्यों मारा? ऐसा बोलेगा? नहीं बोलेगा, right? We have been given intelligence. We have been given human intelligence to ask this question, why am I suffering? Right? How do I get out of it? That's what the life is meant for. Athato Brahma Jigyasa, right? To inquire. Somebody who doesn't inquire is an animal. Yui Pad Pashu. So others who, kept it under the rug, they're Pashus. Right? So yeah, we should not be ashamed of it. Now you actually have come to Krishna, and Krishna says, right? You were just reading in the previous chapter. What is it? 4 kinds of people who come to Krishna. Who are the 4 kinds? 7th chapter.
Knowledge के लिए आता है,
हाँ, एक knowledge के लिए आता है, एक distress में आता है, inquisitive,
खोजी आदमी,
Desire of wealth.
yeah, desire of wealth, artho, artharthi, jigyasu, jnani. 4 kinds of people come to Krishna. And how does Krishna describe these 4 kinds of people? Intelligent. Sukritina is a Sanskrit word. What is the English meaning? Namam?
Those who have a goal,
Those have any?
some goal, they want something. Maybe.
Chaturvida bhajante mam janas sukritino arjuna. Sukritino means they are great souls. They are great souls. Why? Because they don't want to walk in the path of, cheating. They want to be straightforward. They want to be truthful. So at least they are being true to themselves. Ki, bhai, I am suffering. I need to do something about it. I cannot continue like this. At least they are being truthful. And they are called as Mahatmas, or they are called as great souls by Krishna. Because these kind of 4 people, they come to Krishna. Right? Okay. So how one should meditate on Krishna in this verse, right? So one should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything. Right? So here Krishna is talking about meditating on him, but how? Right? Oh, Krishna was a nice person, historical person, right? Great personality, right? अरे वो युद्ध किया था, फिर चले गए, right? Not like that. So there are so many people who describe, who write translations to Bhagavad Gita, and oh, Krishna was a great personality. Right? They first of all think that Krishna is like a human being, right? And he was, abhi nahi hai. Right? And he was a great personality, not the greatest, he was a great personality. यहाँ अभी भी बहुत सारे great personality कृष्ण भी थे. Right? So that's actually blaspheming the Lord, right? So how one should meditate, Krishna is describing here. One should meditate on Krishna as one who knows everything. Now, what is the significance of meditating on Krishna as one who knows everything? What does it mean to us practically?
he knows our tough time as well as our past as well as future.
Yes, okay. He knows our past and future.
So this is one dimension, I think.
Sure, yes. Very nice. So अगर future जानते हैं हमारा या past जानते हैं तो उससे क्या होगा हमारे लिए? Practically हमको क्या फायदा होगा?
जो भी होगा अच्छा ही होगा.
Okay. What do we infer out of it?
Then I get any vengeful thoughts.
Mm.
Then I try to do this. I'm not 100%.
हाँ.
Even if you're suffering, oh, Krishna knows, Krishna will see you.
मेरा रिवेट कृष्ण ले लेंगे. Okay.
I would like to give one example.
एक सेकंड एक करके. Let us finish and then you. हाँ.
Even if you're suffering, then it's like your karmas, and Krishna wants you to learn out of like
Yes.
thinking out of it.
Okay.
Whatever good or bad is happening is for your good. So Krishna at the end is like our eternal father, and whatever is happening is so that we get like a correct understanding.
Yes. Okay. So if Krishna knows my future, right, and if I am coming to Krishna for help, right? So right now I may be suffering. One has to understand anyone who goes to Krishna, he suffers because it is sanctioned by the Lord. Now someone will think, "Arey, itna bhayanak cheez sanction kiya, matlab, he must be really evil." No. So we have to learn something out of it. The minute we learn, it's gone. If we are only, in a victim zone, कि अरे हाँ मेरे साथ ही हो रहा है, how terrible the Lord is, you're not learning anything out of it. Yes, true.
So actually, I, it caused me to ask this question. So, I don't know how to describe it.
Sure.
Like,
हिंदी में बोल सकते हो, इंग्लिश में बोल सकते हो, जैसे बोले बोल सकते हो.
so something happened in the family, and you know, we have everyone in the area of society who we can resolve it. फिर भी हमने नहीं किया. Like, I'm just wondering, like, it's been 6-7 months now. Why did that happen? Like, despite of having everyone
Intelligence,
and everyone
resources. Yeah.
फिर भी
Yeah.
ऐसे कैसे हो गया? You know?
Correct. So there is a factor called as three modes of material nature which act on us, right? Sattvagun, Tamagun, Rajagun. Suna hoga aapne? Nahi suna. Mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So at all times we are influenced by these three modes. At all times. Sometimes we are in mode of goodness where we can even, somebody may be accusing and abusing us, and we can still take a step back and think and take the right decision. Right? Like we were hearing, I think from Bhagavatam, we were hearing this story. Yesterday only I was hearing. So, what was it? Hiranyaksh. Hiranyaksh is actually, they are Jai Vijay. And they're servants of the Lord, but then they're cursed to become demons. So they take birth as Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. Now Hiranyaksh was so powerful, right? And his hands were itching. He kiske saath jaake ladu main, right? So everywhere he would go, he would walk in jungles, and all the animals will flee just by looking at it. It was so terrible to look at it. उसको देख करके किसी का पैंट गीला हो जाए ऐसा, right? Forget fighting him. And he was huge. Somebody who had picked up earth and thrown it in the Garbha of the ocean. That huge. So, since he was finding no one, jahan pe jata tha, everyone was fleeing. He found no one, so he took his club, he jumped into the ocean and started smashing the waves. Imagine, just because he wanted to satisfy his fighting itch. Right? And all the aquatics they were playing. बोले जाए तो कहाँ जाए, अभी पानी के बाहर निकल जाए. Like that. So finally he dove inside and he reached Varuna. Now he is now challenging Varuna. He is accusing Varuna, and he loves उसकी खिल्ली उड़ा रहा है. First of all, he goes and offers obeisances, and starting to say sweet words but sarcastically. I've heard your glories, you're so powerful, this and that. And then he starts insulting him at the same time, trying to incite his anger. And, Varuna could understand this guy is not ordinary. So, he refuses to fight. He, in mode of goodness, he could understand, he could analyze, and he says, now I'm old, right? If you had met me in my youth, I would have really fought you. But now I'm old and you are very, very powerful. So, but don't worry. Like you're insulting me, ki mere ko koi nahi maar sakta, you're having this ego, right? Only Lord Vishnu can satisfy this itch of your fighting. And when you fight with him, you'll be broken to bones. And there'll be dogs surrounding you to eat your flesh. So he literally usko pura warning भी दे दिया कि बहुत घमंड है, लड़ाई भी होगा और तुम इस तरह के मरोगे. So person in mode of goodness he can actually control his emotions, not carried away by these emotions. Because if he would have been carried away by his emotions, वहीं पे मर जाते थे, right? Hiranyaksh would have killed him. So he composed himself. He did not engage with him. At the same time, he delivered the message also. कि भाई किससे लड़ना और क्या हाल होने वाला है, like that. So that's feature of mode of goodness, where you can actually take the right decision. Otherwise, most of the time, the mind is dictating us, right? And mind is like that, elephant which is just pushing us in all directions. So we end up in a mess, right? So if you act in mode of passion, passion is too much of anything is passion, right? And you're trying to work like a donkey, etc. So that's passion. Mode of ignorance is kya ho raha hai hone do, I don't care, right? Till the time nobody points a gun at me, I am just going to sleep. That's mode of ignorance, right? And of course, Bhagavad Gita is full of description with what is mode of goodness, what is mode of passion, mode of ignorance. There is food in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. There is charity which can do in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, etc. So everything, all activities can be classified in these three modes, and mixtures of three modes also happen.
Charity.
Yes.
They don't come good.
नहीं, charity आप दो, terrorist organization को 4 लाख रुपए दे दो. There's charity in mode of ignorance. Al Qaeda.
तो तुम्हें को पता ही होगा ना कहाँ जाएगा.
नहीं तो that is ignorance. Charity in mode of ignorance. There are people. Terror funding is one of the biggest issue in the world today, right?
It does not become charity then.
जानबूझ के
Charity can
Somebody is giving your his hard-earned money, right, to someone.
then it wouldn't classify as charity. That would be
Charity in mode of ignorance also can be classified. Just to give you a simple example, there is a beggar on the street smoking, and you will see him smoking. He comes and asks, "2 rupees de do," you give 2 rupees.
Very easily.
Yeah, that's charity in mode of ignorance, without seeing Desh, Kal, and Patra.
But I heard this story where this couple was donating some to an orphanage regularly. And then for a अच्छे intentions से कर रहे थे, but later one of the child over there turned out to be like underworld on. So that was
That is.
वो उनका bad luck है, but they give me the whole.
Still they get the karma. So Paramatma in the heart, he's seeing the intention. So not that entire karma comes to them, but a very small portion of the karma certainly comes to them because they facilitate it.
but without knowing. How
That's
can they
okay.
be-
Agyat Sukruti, जैसा होता है ना.
Also a lot.
The same example, my friend who is here, Satyam. When I asked him to explain the same. Yeah. This is the kind of mode of ignorance.
So, sorry, yes.
Even in Lal Bagh Raja, there are so many like Pandits who are like showing power and everything.
Very good example actually. Lal Bagh ka Raja ठीक है. I'm saying, oh, people who come for Ganesh के लिए चंदा दे दो, Ganesh के लिए चंदा दे दो. What they do, right? They will have, full ऐसा room के साथ का speaker. सबके कान भागेंगे Bollywood song से. रास्ते पे, correct? And while going in the procession, they'll drink.
Yeah.
They'll do all kinds of things. So that's charity in mode of ignorance. Right? So yeah, what are examples? Okay. So because of these three modes, we are influenced. Sometimes we may think, oh, we are very educated. We may think, yeah, हमारे पास सारा resource था solve करने का, नहीं हुआ. क्यों नहीं हुआ? We are influenced by the mode of ignorance at that point in time. And why we are influenced by the mode of ignorance? Because we are associating with mode of ignorance more and more. Our food is in mode of ignorance. Our association of people surrounding us is in mode of ignorance or passion, right? And that situation created at that point is definitely in mode of passion or ignorance. And since you're not in goodness, you're carried away. Beh gaye, bhavnaon mein, right? So it happens. The most intelligent people, in fact, if you look at, I was actually studying this very interesting statistics. So most of women abuse, right? domestic violence, etc. किसके घर में होता होगा? Educated people, doctors, lawyers, not in uneducated house. मतलब उसमें भी होता होगा. But if you look at the statistics, it's more so on the educated side. Why? Why? Education है.
Because mode of is more.
Exactly.
No, ignorance me, they know what they do.
They know. Ignorance is not just I don't know. Ignorance is जैसे वो श्लोक है भगवद गीता में, I think second chapter. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंस संगस्तेषु उपजायते संगात् संजायते कामा कामात् क्रोधो विजायते. Right? When you desire to have some object of sense and you don't get it, anger arises. Right? Krodhat bhavati sammoha. From krodha or anger, sammoha, you're illusioned. Sammoha smriti vibrama, the memory is lost. Smriti bhramshat buddhi nash, intelligence is destroyed. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. And you are down, fall in the darkest region of consciousness. At that time, you can do anything. Right.
Even when we tell people the Gita reading, हाँ पढ़ना but time नहीं. TV देखेंगे but YouTube videos देखेंगे but time नहीं. And this is also ignorance.
Yeah. So, and that's why we all need to go out on the street with books in hands, right? Knowing that people will say no, but still somehow or the other, since you have received the mercy of the Lord, you have to pass it on, right? We were just hearing a very nice class where Rosie was describing, Sundar Chaitanya Prabhu was describing how there are Mayavadis also sometimes who chant Hare Krishna, right? So Mayavadi सबको पता, you may not be knowing what is Mayavadi. बाकी सबको पता है Mayavadi?
I can't remember.
Okay. So Mayavadi is in. So there's a very rhyming line: Mayavadi Krishna Paradi. So these are the people who consider themselves to be God, right? So हम भी ब्रह्म है और ब्रह्म है, वहां पे भी ब्रह्म है, यहाँ पे भी ब्रह्म है. हम क्योंकि ये शरीर में है इसलिए अभी हम माया के अंतर्गत है. जब हम मेडिटेट करके परफेक्ट हो जाएंगे, हम वो भी ब्रह्म में मिल जाएंगे और हम भी सुप्रीम बन जाएंगे, राइट? और and people greet each other, Namo Narayan, you are also Narayan, I am also Narayan, like that. So that's actually Mayavad in one sense. Mayavad means considering Maya to be greater than Krishna. Because if you think you're God, and you're saying that you have been influenced by Maya, Maya must be greater than you, right? Maya must be greater than God. Correct? So therefore the philosophy is termed as Mayavad, not Krishnavad, Mayavad. Like that. They consider the Lord to be formless and they consider themselves to be the Lord. So that's Mayavad.
Just yesterday, I came into the temple and I got to know one student conference. And we were sitting in front of the Mahatma was going on. I didn't believe in idol worship.
So you should tell me also don't believe in idol worship. You should give that answer.
So I did I mean, see, this place has got a peaceful vibe and I have experienced a lot of good luck in this place. So this is the only explanation that I can give you. I'm not going
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Trying to convince you otherwise because I'm not that kind of person.
Okay. Become that kind of person. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we just, she liked the vibe of the place and she recommended to get my parents here.
Okay, nice. So now let's take this example and what answer each one of you all will give. Let's discuss on that.
I mean, I felt like telling her, but I didn't feel it right inside.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. What answer will you give?
Fact that she has come to temple itself is a blessing for her.
Yes.
Otherwise, why she come to temple?
But when somebody says, "Oh, I don't believe in idol worship," what answer will you give? Okay.
So gradually, if you
What does that mean by that?
I believe
she believes in God,
I believe in Brahma. I believe in religiousness.
Okay.
Puja.
Correct. Vidhi Mataji, what answer will you give?
I know the answer, but I won't tell you.
That's okay. I'm asking individually. I want to know what answer will everyone give. Yes.
Something like around existence and faith in I would start with can you touch sunlight or you breathe in. I invite put your tongue out.
One by one.
Can you feel the water? Can you feel the humidity? And then I'll start and I'll maybe take her to how God exists.
Okay. So our approach will be a gradual one. Okay, understood. Now cut the situation out. Tell me what is the answer. How would you explain it to me? Yeah. Just give me 1 minute. Let her finish. Yeah. Forget the gradualness right now. What is the answer?
I don't know. I have to say what will I tell her? So
Yes. Sorry.
Exactly. She said maybe if you can repeat.
She said that you believe is sitting. I don't believe in it.
I don't believe in idol worship. Let's take that as a subject, right? Idol worship versus worshipping the Supreme Lord, right? You have to give a speech on that or say something so that we establish that worshipping Krishna in the Archa form is the most perfect thing versus your idea of idol worship, etc.
Believe that God exists.
Okay,
I mean, how to make somebody believe?
we'll come to that. People will answer here. Yes, Prabhu, before you. I know you know.
I think that it doesn't matter whether you believe in idol or not. Till the time you believe in Krishna, then anything can become Krishna for you, right?
Okay. Okay.
I have a different perspective.
Yes, Prabhu.
अगर आप मेरे सामने हो, I would have asked कि आप ठीक है, this is how I go to my entire day.
Yes.
आप कौन सा गेम खेलते हैं? अच्छा खेलते हैं.
Cricket.
ठीक है. जब आप क्रिकेट नहीं खेलते थे, आपका परसेप्शन क्रिकेट के बारे में जो था, आज वो क्या चेंज हुआ ना. यही हर लाइफ में हर जगह एप्लीकेबल. टू बी ऑनेस्ट,
Taste of the pudding is in eating.
Because the reason being when I even came to this place, even at that point of time, before that, my background, I used to criticize Ram.
काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट आपको
राम रहीम एंड दीज ऑल.
मेरे को काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट है. तो आपने तो ऐसा फॉर्म एक्सपीरियंस किया है, तो आपने फॉर्मलेसनेस का सुपीरियरिटी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया है. आप वो क्रिकेट खेले नहीं हो. जब आप यहाँ पे एक्सपीरियंस करोगे, you'll know that worship of the form is for बच्चा लोग. Formlessness is the main thing.
I don't argue for either of that damage. It first says like if you have played cricket, you understand that. You have difference of opinion. 3 years back now versus now. The same thing is that if you come over either this way, if somebody wants to come, if somebody don't want to come, then there is no choice.
Correct.
And it is not even recommended to force him. Let him decide. It is, I consider it is up to God based.
चलो ठीक है, समझ गया आपका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. Yes, Madhu. Yeah.
So I would say that just like giving a real life example, that if you love somebody, then you would want to like exchange, reciprocate with that person, stuff like that. You would want to feel that person, talk to them, and stuff like that. For that, you need a form. You cannot just talk to the air. You cannot reciprocate with the air. You need somebody in front of you to reciprocate.
Yeah, sure.
So when you have a form, it becomes easier to exchange feelings.
Okay.
That's why we believe in idol worship.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like now it's up to you if you want to consider that Murti as an idol. Many people who are not even devout, like they don't have realization of like worshipping and stuff like that, still they connect with God. There are many cases like that where they have their like Chota Lala and they connect with them. So it's up to you if you want to consider that just as an idol, or you want to consider that idol as a person in itself and exchange feelings with that person.
Okay.
So idol worship makes it much more easier.
So basically for emotions we need to
Not emotion, but like just like
exchange of emotions here.
Example of a mother. If a mother, she's just gonna say, I love my child, but she's not doing anything for the child in the physical form, then the child is never going to feel that, yeah, I'm important to my mother. My mother loves me. The child is never going to feel the importance. unless you do something, unless you show it out,
Hmm.
like doing something for this, only then the child is gonna know,
Sure.
right? So,
You wanted to add something?
Yes, I want to actually now I realize you can ask me that you tell me that there is no form. You prove the formlessness of what you believe in as to the form of Krishna.
Okay.
That is one thing, and the
Interesting.
other thing I'll say is you are right. I tell you are right because the idol that is over there is a human perception and is not beyond what he is in front of you.
Okay.
And the third thing that I would say is if the person, the devotees who believe in Krishna, they actually see a form in this, real Krishna in this. So these are the things which I would tell her.
Okay.
Try to convince. So two aspects. So one is your aspect that you are not giving a form to your belief. You are giving a form to your belief, and that belief is Krishna. And the others who are given them form, others who are given form, they see Krishna in this idol.
Okay.
So you prove your formlessness.
Okay. Question is idol worship versus deity worship. Yes.
first chapter we understand that Krishna says that we have to offer the food.
Third chapter? Okay.
Third chapter it starts.
Okay.
We have to offer the food. So if we have an idol in front of us,
Hmm.
then we can offer the food and nicely he is accepting the food. Otherwise, without an idol, it's like everything is an imagination. So if
Okay.
we have an idol, we serving him the food, then we have that, aarti.
So we are giving shape to our imagination. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Or like she said, we are giving a form to our belief.
We are trying to make it as beautiful as possible.
We are trying to make it as beautiful as possible.
Always keep that beauty.
Okay. Last two sentences. You're sharing more?
I would understand a person का बहुत सारा बुराई बाकी
Okay. ठीक है वो gradual part में we are coming to the root of the subject.
It is working for me to some degree, so I would say, it's a good decision. Why don't you sing for the Lord? And every day when the person sings, it will not happen in the same session. One meeting is not going to happen.
I'm saying we all understand that we need to deal with the person in a gradual way, right? Right now we are not talking about, preaching to that one person and, taking the person on a gradual journey. We are discussing the subject. What is the answer?
What is your understanding? What is your
Forget the person right now.
what is your understanding of this person?
Deity worship versus idol worship.
It's not idle in the first place.
Yes.
Deity.
Correct. Yes. Your thoughts? Okay.
So, Prabhu, the form of Krishna is already described in our
Scriptures.
So, it's written clearly that Krishna is in a form.
Okay.
Also, one more question.
Yes.
You can answer both together. Like Muslims, they don't believe in idol worship, like deity worship, right? So, they are also really strong in their. Honestly, I feel that they're stronger than Hindus because Hindus don't follow majority of things. They don't want to follow their, how they're dressing and stuff like that. But if you see Muslims, they like even in school, we all would be eating, and they're so adamant that they would follow their Ramadan properly without any cheating because we're
Correct.
going to see them, right?
Yeah.
And small kids also do it.
They're trained.
Yeah.
5 hours in a day.
Yeah.
And then also you madrasa every single day.
Correct.
Yeah, and none of Hindu parents they don't even tell their kids that you should.
खुद को पता नहीं क्या बोलेंगे.
So they're very clear in their head with what they're doing.
Correct.
I think they are more brainwashed actually.
That depends on who's teaching what. Cannot just generalize it. Yeah.
You can't say that it's brainwashed because it's their
Scriptures.
it's their religion.
And it's a bona fide scripture, by the way. It's a bona fide religion. But people teach it in a wrong way. Like even Bhagavad Gita is taught in so many random ways. So it's okay.
The parents go in a shock and they see their children coming.
You know, my friends, like my college mates, they don't know who's Draupadi. They don't know who is, okay, I'll tell you a very recent example. I'll tell you a very recent example. When I'd gone to Dubai, right? That time it was Damodar month. So my mom, she had gone for like preaching and doing Damodar Aarti. We had gone to this one house where everybody, like all kids of my age, youth, they all were sitting and my mom was just like telling stories and stuff like that. They are like, Sita's mother, sorry, Ram's mother is Sita. Yeah. And my mom is like, the mother of Ram.
Okay.
Then they don't know who is Draupadi, they don't know who is Ram's mother. They have no clue about our sisters, they don't know who are their personality.
Okay.
It was so funny and it was so shocking in the first place that they have zero clue. And even the moms don't know. They don't know. And we were just like, what is happening?
Yeah, 50 years ago, if somebody would see us like, "Arey, kuch nahi aata yaar." So as also they were feeling, "Arey, kya ho gaya in log?"
Like, we showed it, at
Okay.
least this much. It was shocking.
Anyways, so the answer is that yes, we also don't believe in idol worship. We don't. What is idol worship? Let's get into details of what is idol worship. Idol worship is you idolize someone, or something. So great, etc., and then you start worshipping. What is idol worship? Common feature of idol worship: Virat Kohli fan club, right? Sachin Tendulkar fan club. These are all idol worshippers actually.
Temple of Rajnikant. Temple of Amitabh.
So these are all the temple. They are worshippers, right? They are worshipping their idols.
Yes.
Ye mera idol, Indian idol, right? So these are all idol worshippers actually. We are not idol worshippers. We are worshipping not a form that we imagined and we are trying to give our beliefs some form. No. Krishna is there. He is absolute truth. He is there whether we believe it or not. Right? He's there. He's standing there in the temple right now. So he's standing there. Right? And faith is the vehicle through which we can experience the reality. Reality exists. He's standing there. Our faith, to the degree we have that faith, is a vehicle to experience that reality. Right? Just like, and why he comes in this form? Why is he in the form of a marble? Why is he in the form of wood, etc., etc.? So, it is for our benefit. Just like, can you watch TV right now? TV देखो हवा में. रेडियो वेव्स तो हर जगह है. देखो, या मोबाइल पे बात कर लो. Right? सिग्नल यहाँ पे थोड़ा कम है, but है. Right? करो बात. We need a receiver. We need a television set. Right? We need a dish antenna on top, etc., etc. Right? To receive that signal and to be able to watch television or to actually communicate on a mobile phone. Similarly, the Lord, He appears He mercifully appears in a form that we can experience. So it's not that कि हाँ, marble है और ये भगवान का एक representation है. नहीं. He's Krishna himself who has appeared in the form of that marble or that wood, etc., etc. Right? That's Archa Vigraha. We call it Archa Vigraha. There is a process called as Pran Pratishtha happens, where the form of the Lord is actually made exactly as per the descriptions in the scriptures, and then we invite the Lord, please be present. We actually invite the Lord through a process called Pran Pratishtha, so that He can be present there and we can actually serve Him. Otherwise, how will you serve? Like, how will you watch TV? Like she was giving the example, how will you relate to someone? Hawa se baat karenge, right? So the Lord, in order to reciprocate with us, comes in a form which we can experience through our senses. That's His mercy, right? And we can actually have a loving relationship. People are like, अरे हम भगवान में लीन हो जाएंगे, हम एक हो जाएंगे, ऐसा बहुत सारी चीजें बात करते हैं, right? Imagine, you and your child, or you and your wife, right? Or you and your best friend, right? You're having a very nice relationship. Suddenly you merge. You become one. What is the fun in that? Right? You were two people, now you become one person. उसमें क्या मजा है यार? Like, why would you want to even entertain this idea? Oh, my best friend, we'll merge together and become one person.
Now people say,
And you'll be lonely.
now people use that tagline, two hearts, one soul.
Huh? Two hearts, one soul.
One body, one mind, one soul.
Huh?
Yeah.
So the idea there is that we are so much in sync, right? That all our desires and ambitions are one. So we are in sync like that. Not that we become one person only, right? Merge हो गए चलो कल से merge हो गए. Best friend is gone. What happened? He merged into me. Right?
Then it's like I'm talking to myself.
Yes. फिर मिलन में बात करते रहना. Why would God want that? Just think about it. He wants a loving relationship with each and every individual person. Right? And he says, Napivam jatu nasam natu manme janadipa na chaiva nas bhavishyama sarve vayamata param. Never was there a time where I did not exist, where you did not exist, where all these kings did not exist. Right? They were there in the past, they're there in the present, and they will always continue to exist. Which means we are all individuals at all point in time. Right? Not that we merge. Okay. Wow. 145 यहीं पे हो गया. Okay, आज एक ही verse. Any questions? Any reflections? Reflection is something you heard, you liked, and you're taking it back, or some other realizations out of that particular statement, or
Undivided attention is correct.
yes.
That nice stage of
Our attention, our attention, we should treat it as currency. Right? पैसा खर्च करते हैं सोचते हैं कहाँ डालना है, right? So if we treat our attention as our currency, because that's actually the most expensive thing in the world, right? To undivided attention. So if we treat it as currency, we should be very, very careful where to spend that, not to just waste it. And in fact, there is a story. So one devotee actually visited one great saint, one Acharya in Govardhan. So he was cooking for the Lord. And he went to him with some problem. He said, "Give me just 2 minutes," right? And he stopped his gas, cooking half में बंद कर भगवान के लिए भोग बना रहे थे. वो थोड़ा सा set करके half में बंद कर दिया उसको. And then he came and started talking. So this person said, "Arey, you could have simultaneously cooked and talked to me. You could have multitasked, right?" बोला नहीं. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. Full attention. When I'm cooking, I have to give full attention there to cook for the Lord. Right? So that's how great personalities or great souls deal with different things. They don't do 100 things together. Yes, you were saying something.
I was just talking about that 9 stages of progress to the
9 stages of devotion service.
because immediately a person can't start with 3rd or 4th stage kind of thing. Okay? To start with at least somebody to read and to listen somebody. So that makes it.
So actually, these are 9 processes of devotion service.
Where I can find this thing.
भागवतम में भी आता है, भागवत गीता में प्रभुपाद बहुत जगह पे कोट करते हैं. हाँ, मिल जाएगा आपको. I think सर्च मारोगे ये
gives all those kind.
नहीं, not in Bhagavad Gita. That's it. That shloka is in Bhagavatam.
In Bhagavad.
Yeah.
In Bhagavad.
Shravanam Kirtanam Prahlad Maharaj के section में आएगा. I think 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Staranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasam Sakhyam Atmanayam. So this is the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavad Gita में Prabhupada ने quote किया बहुत सारी जगहों पे, आपको मिल सकते हैं. So even one thing out of this entire 9 things you do nicely, life will be perfect. Okay. Any other thoughts? Any reflections? Any questions? You came late. So, wow, Jai. Oh yes. So we should all actually today let's spend some time. Let's spend some time and go out for book distribution. I'll try and arrange some books. We can all carry them. And just like you are receiving this gift of Bhagavad Gita, others may say no, you may face rejection, but with determination, should try and talk to them. Just think about one thing that you learn from Bhagavad Gita, आज की class से या previous classes or whatever, or you've read Bhagavad Gita previously, एक चीज आपने सीखा है, अपने जीवन में implement किया है, experience किया है, उसका result, simply share that with someone, because that is what you have faith in, because you've experienced, and that faith will inspire someone to get Bhagavad Gita. Of course, Paramatma will also guide you whom to say, what to say, and simplest method of distributing books. Simplest method of distributing books. Actually, the book sells itself, right? Because Paramatma in their heart and Krishna is in the form of Bhagavad Gita also. So the book actually sells itself. Khali haath mein dena hai, right? The main thing is to give it in their hands, right? हम कभी-कभी करते थे table लगा करके, we just invite people, take book, pick up a slok, read, and that's the message for the day for them. Right? So even something as simple as that can be done, and just ask if you want to take it, and you can give any donation, etc. against it. So very simple. So we'll try this today. It's a very adventurous experience. किसको adventure चाहिए life में तो book distribution करना चाहिए, right? And a lot of learning, lot of patience, perseverance, all of this quality you can just learn, and by the act of doing this one service, book distribution. All perfections will manifest. Mataji already karke hain. So, okay. Any other questions, reflections, or thoughts? Nothing? Okay, we'll have short kirtan and then we'll. First one, that's right. If you cannot reach it, you won't. Sure. Where is
Yeah.
Actually, you have to. Take this one. This bus. Hare Jai Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. We'll have prasadam now. Switch off. Online was, I don't know, nobody turned up.
Yes. No, my phone. No one.
Oh, I must have joined some other